Okay, so today, which group presentation? Noel, siapa punya grup hari ini? Kamu punya kan? Oke, grup 3, 4. Sandra dan Kelvin. Oke, Sandra and Kelvin lah. So, alright. Just a few minutes we start. We waiting Sandra groups ready. Present ah. Mau punya video. Boleh ke?
Boleh tunggu sekejap ah.
Tak boleh tunggu nih. Oke, Mbak. Oke, pelan-pelan.
Oke, sir.
Pelan-pelan. Ini. Saya bagi 5 menit untuk ready. 10 menit pun boleh. Cukup masak. 2 grup saja.
Oke, thank you, sir.
Nah, pelan-pelan. Kecuali grup Kelvin tidak sabar bentang.
Sir, saya akan present lah.
Kamu present? Oke, lulus.
Greetings to Mr. Moda and to my fellows. Greetings, and in this presentation, greetings to Mr. Moda and to my fellow students. My name is Lino Elian, and in this presentation,
Dua orang aja ke?
My name is Dan Xuanji. My student ID is 20SBR10205. Today, I will share my personal experience and door. In year 2012, my mom and I experienced begin stolen 5 or 6 times in our grocery store by illegal immigrants. The incident was 2 young black illegal immigrants suddenly come to the store. After entering the store, a man walked to the cash counter and asked me something in English. The other black man wandered around the store. Later, I found out that a pot of cooking oil was missing. After that, my mom specially spent money to add CCTV camera, so there were no dead spot in the entire store. Next day, about 11 p.m., when 7 black people come to the supermarket, and my mom quickly called me downstairs. When I come down, my mother had been surrounded by the 3 black men at the cash counter. The other 4 people wandered around our grocery store. When I come down, the 7 dark-skinned color illegal immigrants left. Afterward, my mom and I checked the CCTV video and found that there's still some sugar and snack. 3 days later, in the early morning, I was on the duty in the store. As a result, 2 of the 7 people who come to steal think that they come to our store again. This time, I immediately rushed to stop them before they enter the area and call the police. When entering, the police needed to verify their identity. They could not get out their passport. Many illegal immigrants use fake passport at checkpoint. Some immigration officials know that passports are fake, but they still allow entry. This is why many illegal immigrants enter our country so easily. In my opinion, although illegal immigrants have brought many problems, it is undeniable that they have made certain contributions to promoting the economic development of Malaysia. It also some illegal immigrants have a good manner and responsibility to do their duty. For example, when I was a child, my father and mother were very busy with business and did not have a free time to take care of my 80-year-old grandma. So they decided to hire an Indonesian maid to take care of my grandma at home. This maid is very young. She just arrived at our house for a year, is very hardworking and take good care of my grandma. She come to our country to see the opportunity to work here and to bring luxury and comfort to their family. She decided to stay here permanently after their visa and permits expired and work as illegal immigrant. Based on what I have learned from my personal experience on the case of illegal immigrant issue, I have two lessons that I have learned to share with my class. First, we should learn not to discriminate and prejudice against the skin color and status of the illegal immigrant. We should be grateful for their hard work and contribution to the country. They feel undesirable job we can see in our country. Some type of jobs are often hard to fill by local workers due to the low wages. For example, some family and businessmen often rely on illegal immigrant workers to assist them. Apart from that, immigrant workers can make a positive contribution to business performance and productivity. They can also bring culturally unique and complementary skills and knowledge to our country. Secondly, learn to build good relationship with illegal immigrants. I have learned that unity is the main line of the socialist national relation. Only by working together with the unity in a concerted effort can all ethnic groups consolidate and develop a political situation of democratic unity, stability, harmony, and form strong cohesion. Then we should learn unite to build a society with equal respect to illegal immigrants, such as working together to realize the happiness, prosperity, and progress of the country. By this way, it can enrich our life from different cultures, such as creating a more diverse workforce with varied experience and way of working. Moreover, we should learn tolerance, trust, respect, and understanding toward their situation during the pandemic. Therefore, it will also contribute to the promotion of mutual understanding and mutual assistance to achieve common development, common prosperity, and establishment of a peaceful country. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, good sharing.
Good afternoon, sir, and my fellow friends. My name is Chan Chao Yi. My student ID is 20SBR101186. Today, I would like to talk about my personal experience and thoughts. There are several factors that impact economic, social, and other development of our country. I think that illegal immigration is one of our country problems. The worst of illegal immigrants will bring danger to our society. Therefore, I accept that before it becomes worsened, the government must take the responsible step to minimize and regulate the issue of illegal immigration. In such cases, I remember that when I was in high school, my family and I lived in Taman Raja. There was a small village near where many illegal immigrants live. One of the mean mornings, we get know that in our residential area happened a This situation makes us feel concerned and unsafe. Besides, one day my parents were working outside, only me and my young siblings at home. Suddenly, a car with three people who looked like non-local residents broke into our house without authorizations. They ignored us until my older brother came down to ask them why they broke into our house. Then, he told us that they had admitted to the wrong place and left abruptly. When my parents came back from work in the evening, I confessed that to my parents what happening in the morning, and my parents felt scared. So, for the safety of our family, we decided to move out this house. However, illegal immigrants have also contributed to our country's economic industry. As we all know, they came from a poor countries. They have no money and are forced to work for other countries and make money for their families. The influx of illegal immigrants will give these companies enough labor to produce at a lower cost. Because the company pay them lower wages and use retained earnings to expand their business. They work there but are treated unfairly. If all illegal immigrants are deported back to their hometown, there will be a lack of human resources. These companies may be suspended until they have enough labor to resume operations. For example, when my mother last worked as a hawker, he hired two illegal immigrants as assistants because she has no labor. After a while, the illegal immigrants were caught by the police, and all illegal immigrants fled there. My mother doesn't have enough labor to continue working, so her monthly income is affected, and her living standards are temporarily reduced. Therefore, illegal immigrants should play an important role in supply of labor resources. Now, I would like to share my lesson learned. Based on the personal experience and thought of illegal immigrants, I have two lessons that I have learned to share with my class. First, I have learned that we should respect them instead of simply labeling them. We should decently divide people into good and the bad. In addition, they have made a great contribution to the national economy. Without them, Malaysian business will not develop rapidly, and the market may face a shortage of labor resources. We should treat them fairly and respect them, such as paying them a normal wages instead of lowering their wages. In fact, no one wants to be treated unfairly. They also have their own human rights to get what they want. They are forced to work for other countries to improve living standards and eradicate poverty. There is no rights or law for them to work in our countries. We should show them our kindness. They came to work in our country and start a new life here. They may not be familiar with the environment. They need time to adapt to our culture and language. It is not easy for them. In addition, treating everyone equally is one of our important things that I have learned from my personal thoughts and experience. Many employees know that it is difficult for undocumented workers to find suitable jobs or cannot work in the sun. Therefore, they use illegal immigrants and give them low wages to do a lot of work for them. In addition to treating illegal immigrants, we should treat our friends or family members equally, especially some additional parents always treat their children differently, because sons are better than daughters physiologically. This is why daughters always feel uncomfortable becomes the illegally of their parents. As the saying goes, never judge books by its covers. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. And each of us has a unique ability to do different things. Treating everyone equally should be our human principle. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, good sharing.
My name is Sandra Grace Kung Valencian, student ID 20SBR10200. Good afternoon to Mr. Mwada and my fellow classmates. Today I will be sharing my personal experience on the case of illegal immigrants. In the area where I live, across my residence, there are a group of immigrants who are Indonesian. Many years ago, it was an empty plot of land which belonged to the government. The immigrants made a village of their own out of wood smack on top of the empty land. Although I was aware of their presence, I would never try to catch a glimpse of them or even enter their neighborhood. It was a dark place of the area where no one except the villagers should trespass. The entrance to the village was narrow, and which is next to the tire shop, and it was not confirmed about how big the area was, and it was a place where no one would simply visit. The village is called Kampong Baru. One night, a police car was parked in front of the entrance. The reason the police car was there was due to the participation of the immigrants in fights, drugs, and vandalism. I have heard rumors about the immigrants who were jobless and involved in crimes such as thefts. The area was deemed isolated and it was a place where no one would simply visit. The residents formed negative opinions on these immigrants who were dangerous, dirty, and low class. The residents around the area has negative perspective on these Indonesians, creating a gap between Indonesians and Malaysians. The immigrants who have no legal documents will be sent to a place called Rumah Merah to be undergo repatriation to be sent back to their own respective countries. They will board the ships through the ports at Sarawak or Tawau. Based on my personal experience on the case of illegal immigrants, I have few lessons I would like to share with the class. In my opinion, there are positive and negative impacts on foreigners working in our country. While it boosts the economy, some foreigners have conducted illegal activities and crimes in our country. There are some foreigners who have bad conduct, while some foreigners have good conduct and attributes. For example, my cousin who has a nanny who was an Indonesian was working with them. I remember visiting the house when I was 10 years old, and I remember the nanny was always kind and smiling at me. She would always ask me if I would like to eat or drink. I partly enjoy my visit to my cousin's house because of her. Another experience was when I would regularly visit a cafe. An Indonesian waitress would serve me. She was polite and hardworking until her employment ended with the cafe, and she has to be sent back to her own country for having an expired passport and work permit. Indonesians mainly came to Sabah to earn more money and have more job opportunities. It is a necessity for them to migrate here. Back home, they have less job opportunities, which they have no choice but to migrate. The first lesson I have learned is we should not judge a book by its cover. We should not judge a person by their status, skin color, or citizenship. Basis rumors formed by opinions creates stereotypes and prejudice on the minority. Secondly, we should learn how to respect and appreciate one another. Although there are working middle class or lower class jobs, without them we will not be able to function daily in our lives. They assume the role of maids, waitress, and contractors, so us locals will work the upper class jobs to balance the economy. I also learned we should apply the one Malaysian concept to everyone and not just different races in our country, but to also foreigners who came to work in our country. That is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing.
Hello everyone, my name is Tachichi. My student ID is 20SPR10203. Today I will share my personal experience and thoughts to my fellow classmates. This experience was happened to my friend in 2015. It was happened at midnight, around 3 or 4 o'clock. Her whole family member will fall asleep. Those things had been stolen was her brother wires. Her brother was in charge electrical things, much more like consultant generals. That day, someone took the opportunity, opened the door to enter her house to take her brother wires. When they saw the wires, they heard someone's voice. The voice was come from her grandmother's voice. So they scared and ran away with few wires and left much less wires at her house. And the next day, after her family woke up, her brother discovered that a lot of wires had been stolen. Fortunately, there are a CCTV in her house, so her family member quickly opened the CCTV to see who stole the wires. Her family members saw that there are two unknown persons able to open the door to steal her brother's wires. So her family member called to the police station to talk about this matter and the evidence. When they go to the police station, they give this video evidence to the police and ask the police to find the two thieves. After a few days, police station called to her house and tell them what good news and what bad news. The good news is the police successfully caught the two thieves. The bad news is the police cannot ask the two thieves fine or go to the jail. Why? Because the two thieves were illegal immigrants without any authorized document like IC card or passport, something like that. So the police can't do anything. So in result, the police just let the two thieves go. In my opinion, although we know that illegal immigrants have bring negative effect to our country, but we cannot erase the fact of illegal immigrants have bring many benefits to economic growth in Malaysia. They have helped us a lot in a daily life or in operation. For example, since my parents were busy in working, especially my dad working every day, so my mom hired a female maid from Indonesia to help my mom do the household work. Basically, my family can understand the Malay, so my family can easily communicate with her. Her main duties are wiping the floor, sweeping the floor, washing clothes, and ironing clothes. She's very kind, humble, and helpful maid. Until now, she has worked at my house, has been 9 years already. So sometimes we can share some experience about the education matter or give her new clothes, foods, and包to her as an appreciation. Next, I will talk about the lesson learned. Based on lesson learned from my personal experience of illegal immigrant cases, I have gained two lessons from the personal experience. First, we could not directly make a conclusion by just our personal outlook or surface. Even their appearance not very special, but their working skills very high, and they are self-motivated. They can make a big contribution to country, especially the economic growth. So this why our gross domestic product has been increased. Second is we should be practiced more as be kind as a human being. Even illegal immigrants are some foreign workers, but they are just undocumented workers. They are also human beings. They have done nothing wrong. Hence, these workers could not be used as a tool to making money. We should not treat them like if they do not give the coverage to us after they gain their salary, we go to report to the police. No, we should can't do that. You should have a kindness heart and we understand their environment because they need their salary to rest of their family like for daily expenses, tuition fee and others. So that's all for my personal experience and thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, group. Chào Chen Yi. Chào Yin Chan. Sorry, Chan Chi Yu. Thank you very much. Okay. So, all right. That's for sharing from group Sandra. So, we have one left group, Kelvin group. Okay, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Greetings to Mr. Moda and to my fellow students. My name is Lee Noelian, and in this presentation, I would like to talk about my personal experience and the values learned from the topic of COVID-19 pandemic. So my personal experience started like this. As I was working part-time in a cafe in November 2019, I heard the news about the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan, China. But at that time, I didn't think much about it because I think it was not really that important. But during those times, the federal government imposed the travel ban to all countries. So that means there are less tourists in my workplace. So I decided to get a bit worried and decided to work until the end of February and quit. So at the February 2020, I applied as a student in Tunku Abdul Rahman University College. But as after I applied, I didn't think much about the impact of COVID-19 and how it will affect our daily lives in the future. So in March of 2020, the Movement Control Order, also known as MCO, was implemented by the government. But 3 months after that, as I was starting my first degree, the Movement Control Order was still being implemented. So that means the lecturers and students have to conduct their activities online, also known as e-learning. So my personal opinion is this pandemic really challenges everyone to adapt to a new lifestyle. So we as human, we should not give up and instead adapt to a new lifestyle and be strong in order to pursue our goals. So my first lesson is we should have an open mind and uh, open-minded to a new approach. For example, uh, many people, including me, here complain about this new approach to learning, which is e-learning. But I realized if we keep complain and complain and complain, uh, it doesn't change anything. Doesn't change much. So instead, we should have a healthy mindset and have an open mind, so that we could adapt to a new approach and to continue pursue our goals. So my second lesson is it is important to follow the standard operating procedure, also known as SOP. So the example of SOP is wearing surgical masks, scan our body temperature, maintain our social distancing, and sanitize our hand at all times. So I believe if we keep practicing this SOP, I believe this COVID-19 will be completely gone and we able to continue our daily lives as usual. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, continue.
Good evening to Mr. Moda and to my fellow friend. My name is Ferry Vincent and my student ID is 20SMR11215. Today, I would like to talk about my personal experience and what have I learned on our topic COVID-19 pandemic. In early 2019, I have already resigned on our local fast food restaurant, Borenos Fried Chicken, as an IT and delivery executive due to the decision of me to take care of my grandmother. And at that time, I was hoping and planning to look for a job at the year of 2020. When 2019 almost comes to an end, my grandmother suddenly fell into a coma state and was sent to the hospital. But unfortunately, she passed away at the 3rd of January 2020. In that 1 month time period, I was not aware until mid of February, where coronavirus went viral in Malaysia and spread all across the country wildly. On 17 March of 2020, Malaysia finally decided to undergo a 2-week lockdown until 31st of March 2020. But unfortunately, the number of cases doesn't go decrease, but instead it went increase. So months have passed. The planning for me to go look for a job was on hold for a very long time. And at the same time, my family suggested me to go and apply a bachelor degree at Tunku Abdul Rahman College. I was a bit hesitant whether I should apply or not. At that time, I was thinking the opportunity might not approach to me again. So I applied, and I finally got myself into Tunku Abdul Rahman College as a bachelor student. I was not able to attend to the college because we were still in a lockdown, which is a movement control order MCO, but we still able to continue our study by online. For 6 months of online study, I was still a bit difficult to adapt in online studying because I'm used to study in an old method way, which we will sit in a classroom and have a face-to-face study session with our teacher. But bit by bit, I'm slowly getting used online study at home. So, what have I learned from this pandemic? Well, there's a few things in mind that I should mention about, which is I should not have wait the good things to happen, but rather I should have to go and take the opportunity while it's still in front of us. Another thing is I should have quickly adapt whenever or wherever, because if I didn't adapt in a fastest way, I could have left behind. So that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Shaken Wei. Today I'll be talking about my personal experiences and lessons learned. During early 2020, I was working part-time when I heard a little about the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan. I thought little of it as I believe it will not affect my life at all. However, at the first sign of an outbreak in Malaysia, my parents advised me to quit my job and to ensure my safety. I followed their advice and quit my job. However, I thought that the outbreak will end in a very short time and we can go back to our normal lives. However, I was proven wrong. As MCO procedures as MCO has been implemented, and we have and even universities have to stop face-to-face learning. I was very disappointed as I believe online learning is less effective than face-to-face learning. For the next few months, the virus spread throughout the world due to countries not being having prepared early enough. During these times, I was not able to go out often, and it has been a challenge to adapt to the new lifestyle. After these few months, I slowly got used to online learning and living frugally due to the low income of my family from their lost jobs. Constantly being at home with family members that have lost their jobs has produced conflict due to the stress built up over time. I sincerely hope that the outbreak will end soon and we can go back to our daily lives. There are two lessons I learned two lessons during this time. The first is to take care of our mental health during these trying times. I personally enjoy going outdoors to reduce stress from our daily lives. The stress built up during my studies has hampered my performances. So I found new hobbies and such as reading novels and playing games to reduce stress instead. I believe it is very important to find ways to take care of our mental health during these trying times. My second lesson learned is being flexible to adapt well to sudden life changes. People who couldn't adapt well enough will have more stressful lives as being worried about being infected and being forced to stay at home and losing their jobs has produced conflicts between family members and friends. However, people who have adapted well and are flexible have found new hobbies and new sources of income online. So I believe it is very important to be flexible and adapt well during these trying times.
Oh, ada lagi. Oke, ada lagi. Oke, right.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Sek Yong Long. Now I'm going to share about my personal experience and the lesson learned from the topic of COVID-19 pandemic. So, during early January 2020, I heard the news about the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan, China, which can cause pandemic to all around the world. By that time, I was having semester break before our final semester in our diploma year. I wasn't taking much care about the effect of the virus, which eventually spread into our country and sooner result in a movement control order issued by Malaysian government to the whole nation. At first, they announced that we will have 2 weeks duration of MCO, and I was thinking that maybe it's just 2 weeks and nothing more after that. Surprisingly, the MCO kept extend, and our last semester in final diploma year had been conducted through online e-learning method. Everything that happens during the MCO are new to me, and I don't know how am I going to study from home and how to use the online platform for learning. Initially, I planned to find job after graduation and less likely to continue pursue my degree ever. We all know that MCO caused our economy to fall because a lot of business cannot operate as usual and thus result in many loss of employment. I was struggling whether I should continue my study in degrees or just sit at home and wait until the pandemic is over and we all can start our day as usual. It is also because that this sudden MCO where I need to reconsider my financial ability if I were to continue my studies to degree level. After I inquired about the scholarships and any financial aids that I can apply to fund my studies, I got my approval and decided to continue pursue degree in TAR UC. During the beginning of the semester, I have no motivation at all to pay attention to all of the classes because I can't feel the usual lecturer environment back in the old face-to-face learning method, where I just face computer screen instead having the old style sitting on a chair and listen to lecturers talking at front of us. So, based on what I have learned from my experience and the case in COVID-19 pandemic, I have 2 lessons that I have learned to share with my class. Firstly, I have learned that I must be adaptable to any kind of situation or environment. Learning adaptability can help me overcome any circumstances that can and will happen to me. Life is still going on no matter what is happening in the world, and you have no one to blame on it. The main reason why I keep searching for scholarship or financial aid to fund my degree studies is because I know that during this pandemic, it is hard to find a new jobs, especially I'm a freshman which has almost no experience in working force. So, if I continue my studies during this time, I can save up my time from rather sitting at home waiting for the pandemic and then start looking for jobs than learning something new to improve my knowledge. Besides that, I also learned how to be commitment to every decision you make. I got bad result because I can't fit myself into the new online learning environment. I eventually realized that once you have taken a decision, you must fulfill the responsibilities of the decision made. I can't keep wasting my time and the resource that I pour into making this decision to pursue studies in degree and not doing it properly just because I don't like the new learning environment. After that, I started to commit myself to every lecture class by making sure I listen and do every exercises that are given by lecturers so that I can catch up with what I had laid back before. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, this group. Okay, okay. Sorry ya, itu di bawah start sudah bising. Oke, kita see you next week. Sorry, ya bising sudah. Dia buat rumah sebelah. Oke ya. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, welcome. Okay, see you next week. Next class.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.